Exorcism in Judaism, with a Stephen King-like twist to the tale. Josephus reports that exorcisms were performed by administering poisonous root extracts, and others by making sacrifices.
Now gather round, everyone. Today we're going to repot mandrakes. Who here can tell me the properties of the mandrake root? Yes, Miss Granger.
Mandrake, or mandragora, is used to return those who've been petrified to their original state.
It is worth noting that the root used in the Babylonian myth of Ishtar and Tammuz is samkat, a root form of amphetamine. A more subtle form would be coffee. Samkat was used to resurrect Tammuz, otherwise known as Dumuzid Abzu, in order to possibly resurrect the child of darkness.
To embrace evil. Set, the god of death. They made a pact. A pact that would unleash darkness itself.
The good Udug demon was used against the evil Udug demon, yet they are an obscure class of the very same type of demon. An ambiguous legion. The problem is, the protective deity is the good Udug, but that would be Pazuzu, the king of the very same demons. The word king translates as messenger, angel, or malak. Malak with mematim, and mematim is cognate with Anunnaki. In more recent times, Rabbi Yehuda Fatea authored the book Minchat Yehuda, which deals extensively with exorcism, his experience with possessed people, and other subjects of Jewish thought. The Jewish exorcism ritual is performed by a rabbi who has mastered the art of offering. Mu fire, Mumu art. Also present is a minyan, a group of 10 adult males who gather in a circle around the possessed person.
There are 6 watchers around the well, facing inward instead of out. Whatever's in there, those strains aren't for bringing it up. They're for holding it down.
The group sings aloud Psalm 91 3 times, and then the rabbi blows a shofar. The shofar is blown in a certain way, with various tones and notes, in effect to shatter the body, so that the possessing force will be shaken loose. After it has been shaken loose, the rabbi begins to communicate with it and ask it questions such as why it is possessing the body of the possessed. The minyan pray for it and perform a ceremony for it in order to enable it to feel safe, and so it can leave the person's body. We are told here the prayer is for it, the ceremony is for it, the offerings are for it. I thought it was about freeing the person. I think it is safe to say that this is it, the Adug, otherwise known as Utuku, the origin of which is Sumerian and Akkadian. Relayed to Enki by his son Azarluhi, Azaruludu, an epithet of Marduk, who is a container for Mamu and Zu. And his statue replaced the Apkalu and Pazuzu. Therefore, this is a reformation of the same incantation. Psalm 91 is the 91st Psalm of the Book of Psalms, beginning in English in the King James Version. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Disguising the darkness with beauty, that is a secret shirk. In the slightly different numbering system in the Greek Septuagint version of the Bible and in the Latin Vulgate, this psalm is number 90. In Latin, it is known as Cu Habitat, meaning who lives. As a psalm of protection, it is commonly invoked in times of hardship, though no author is mentioned in the Hebrew text of this psalm. Jewish tradition ascribes it to Moses, with David compiling it into the Book of Psalms. The Septuagint translation attributes it to David. Moses is connected to the Malak. Samkat is a shrub, a bush, and if you burn it, you will get Most High.
Burning behind me is 8.5 tons of heroin, opium, hashish and other narcotics.
This figure attaches itself to other figures. More than likely, merging it with popular culture is a form of protective spell, and this angel claiming that it is the right hand of God is also a protective spell. I believe these figures are being used to house another. Psalm 91 is prominent in Jewish liturgy and ritual. It is recited in the Pazuki de Zimra, in the Shabbat, Yom Tov, and Hoshana Rabbah morning services. It is also repeated after the evening prayer, Motzei Shabbat, meaning going out at the Sabbath, and during the nightly bedtime Shema. In each of the prayers, verse 16 is said twice. For context, I will read from verse 15. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him, and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him. According to Matshor Vitri, the verse is doubled to complete the spelling of a name of God. Lines 11 and 12 are repeated by the devil during the temptation of Jesus. Matthew 4:6, Luke 4:10-11. Psalm 91 is known as the Soldier's Psalm or Soldier's Prayer. I may come across as a bit of a demon, so I'll recite verse 11 and 12. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. This may relate to the use of talismans. The psalm is in reference to he that dwelleth in a secret place, and in verse 13 we are told that it is the lion and the adder, the lion and the dragon. Psalm 91 is also recited 7 times during a burial ceremony. That may be similar to the horns of Jericho. The shofar was blown 7 times while circling the city, similar to the 10 males surrounding the possessed person, and in a similar notion, as the casket bearers approach the grave, singing Psalm 91, they stop every few feet, repeating the psalm. In the case of the burial of a woman, the casket bearers do not stop the procession, but they also repeat the psalm 7 times. Verse 11, recited by the devil, is recited by people after the divine poem Shalom Aleichem at the Friday night meal. Psalm 91 is often recited as a prayer of protection, and some say it before embarking on a journey, the hero's journey. Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you, is a traditional song sung by Jews every Friday night upon returning home from a synagogue prayer. The liturgical poem was written by the Kabbalists of Safed in the late 16th or 17th century. We need to be careful here. The text arises after the work of John Dee, the occultist of the British Crown, a person who channeled forth Enochian magic. Enochian magic is a system of ceremonial magic based on the evocation and commanding of various spirits. John Dee and Edward Kelly wrote that the information, including the revealed Enochian magic, was delivered to them directly by various angels, revealing the angelic language. The angel was meant to dwell in the shadow of God. The work of Enoch places God in the shadow, and the angel in front of him. According to homiletic teaching in the Talmud, 2 angels accompany people on their way back home from the synagogue on Friday night. A good Udug and an evil Udug. A good angel and an evil angel. There is trickery in the wording here. If the house has been prepared for the Shabbat, the lamp has been lit, the table set, and his couch spread. The good angel utters a blessing, that the next Sabbath will be the same. The good angel utters a blessing, and the evil angel is forced to respond, Amen. But, if the home is not prepared for Shabbat, the evil angel expresses the wish that the next Sabbath will be the same, and the good angel is forced to respond, Amen. The hymn is assumed to be based on this teaching. This would mean that any unprepared home is open for demonic possession, and that this good angel is incapable of changing the situation. Not much of a protective angel, is it? In fact, all the angel can say is Amen, which is an agreement. Never swear an oath, say yes or no. Everything else comes from the devil. Matthew 34:37. I'm referring to Amen, Amun. But what about before the messenger's teachings of the word? Somewhere down the line, their home was unprepared. This appears to be creating a never-ending cycle. An unprepared home would be defined as a form of acceptance. Indirect, of course. After my extensive work on Malak, the angel, the messenger, the king, a figure who would be defined as the evil angel. The term Malak has 43 variants. The entity is known as 1 and as 7. The words that follow are related to, or are the meaning of Malak: Most High, Messengers, King and Holy One. In the divine poem, there are a total of 7 in each verse. The line displayed is asking Malak to give you peace. It is accepting or allowing these angels to protect you. These angels are not rivals. They are working together. Rabbi Jacob M. Den, in his prayer book Bet El, 1745, the rabbi criticized the use of the hymn on the grounds that supplications on the Sabbath and supplications to angels were inappropriate, and when looking at the hymn's grammar, he argued that the inclusion of the prefix M was a bad form, as it rendered the passage, "Angels of the Most High, away from the King who rules over kings." He therefore deleted the negative element, thereby reducing me Melech to Melech. And that deletion has been emulated in some other prayer books, apparently a small minority. In the last video, we learned of the secret shirk, those who beautify their words when people are watching them, in order to conceal a darker truth. The removal of this negative component is attempting to beautify the original hymn, but to further this notion, the term malak was used to alter narratives. The hymn has been altered, possibly meaning rendered useless. In some way, this is concerning a frequency, and if the hymn is changed, then so is the frequency, meaning the purpose and frequency have been changed. Elijah of Vilna, 1720 to 1789. She worried about the phrasing and warned singers to be careful not to pause between Elyon, Most High, and me Melech, from the King. Moshe Yair Weinstock, among others, criticized the final verse for rudely urging the angels on, because that would be the new purpose of the hymn. The removal of the negative prefix, M for Scorpio, leads to a revelation found within the name Melchizedek. The I in Melchizedek also reveals a negative connotation. If the letter I is in front of justice, then it means injustice. If the I is in front of Zedek, righteousness, the name reveals that Melech is the unrighteous messenger. This would be the eye of the magician, the foundation stone of the Kabbalah. It would appear that our real struggle is with the angel.